Hey everyone, welcome back to CryptoCache. Thanks again for joining me here. Hope you're having a great day taking a quick look here again at Polkadot, seeing what's going on. This coin has tried and true history of having awesome patterns. We got this cup and handle pattern that played out after a nice bullish flag here. We also got this rising wedge that dropped pretty hard. Granted, that was Bitcoin's doing, but still relevant. And now we have this awesome inverse head and shoulders pattern here playing out, looking like it wants to continue higher up. So again, awesome stuff there. Polkadot looks pretty decent, poised and ready to rock and roll. But again, we want to double check a few things first, right? We don't just take a trade based on small time frames here. We want to look at everything. And that's essentially what we're going to do here. So if you're new to the channel, I want to welcome you aboard. If you want to become a better trader, CryptoCache.tech is a site linked down below. You can kind of glint some awesome trades here with our trading community here. We got nice QNT short from yesterday, 51%. Hindsight's 2020. Really wish we'd shorted more, but again, I don't like to catch a falling knife. So if you have been watching my videos, you'll know that's not really the kind of trader that I am. Having said all of that, welcome aboard to the new members, and we no longer have a wait list here since we opened up some new slots as of January 1st. Heads up. Okay. Hourly time frame. Let's go back to this here in a minute. Let's take a quick look at Polkadot back-end data liquidation levels. So we got no liquidation on the downside, by the way, only liquidation between 6 and roughly 660. Okay, again, it's not like a massive amount, but we do have a lot here at about $6 of more recent shorts. And then of course we got some previous shorts at 660. So just some things we're going to kind of look at on the charts here and recognize that, hey, that's a decent amount of profit, good 5% away roughly. So along to the $6 mark seems appropriate to me. But again, it really just depends on the overall sentiment and where you're at with things. And let's figure a few other things out too, because again, Bitcoin closed over 56,000. That's generally favorable, but we could very well see the Asian markets dump all the profit from here today. That's a very standard thing too, so just be mindful of that. Let's take a quick look at the daily time frame and kind of see where we're at here. We got rejected by the 20-day SMA here on the daily. That's roughly that 0.618 fib level at about $5.90 to $6. So keep in mind, $5.96, that could be one of those areas in which we see some resistance. But again, you got to retest that level a few times before you can break it. We're over 30 on the RSI, but under 50. Still not a great sign, but I'll tell you what, compared to most coins right now, this is actually very good. For the most part, Polkadot's looking pretty solid compared to the other majority of coins. In fact, Polkadot was a coin I was looking at taking along in the $7 range before the price action dumped. Glad we waited. But again, it's one of those coins that's proven to be fairly strong in the overall sense here. Having said that, we can see MACD is trying to diverge, but hasn't yet. Plateauing here, essentially, likely to increase based on the MACD-FU. And to clarify, MACD-FU is not a grammatically correct term. You could probably understand, only guess what the FU stands for. It happens a lot with manipulation, where the whales will trick you into thinking that the coin's going to just continue to break down and it just instantly goes up. Again, that's why we look at liquidation levels here to recognize where their targets are. Right now, shorts have a target on their back at $6, and I think the price is going to shoot up to that level. Again, a lot of it hinges on Bitcoin, but Bitcoin closed soundly today above that support at 56,600. Okay, so again, good stuff there. So all those things combining together seems pretty decent. Let's look at the 4-hour time frame. I recognize we are trending towards trying to retest 50 on the RSI once more with an initial stochastic swing to the downside. This does imply, with the momentum we've had, we could see further downside. It would make sense for this flag to fill out a little bit further before it legs up again, just based on a simple sentiment that we are moderately overextended. However, MACD is converging now at this point, and this is more of a relevant factor because it's got slower moving averages that it uses, and it helps us understand that when the 12 intersects with the 26 in an upward fashion, it essentially allows for us to recognize there's good momentum here on the 4-hour. And this is a transitionary time frame, a time frame we like to pay attention to. So to me personally, the MACD on the 4-hour time frame is probably the larger or more specific and consistent indicator you could use in tandem with others, of course. Never ever use just one indicator at a time or solely by themselves. Having said all that, let's look at this here. We're still below some key levels here for moving averages. So again, this is not sunshine and rainbows, not perfect at all. But once more, we're coming up into this resistance range. So again, a lot of consolidation in this area here from 560 to 590 would make sense. Okay, but I do personally foresee the price action continuing higher. Let me explain why. First of all, on the hourly here, a lot of inverse head and shoulder patterns will flag out. Okay, and this is very similar to cup and handle patterns too, where the price action continues over, it hits a nice little bottom there, and then it'll flag itself into a lower high, lower low pattern, and then take off once the selling pressure, the bears have given up or essentially had been kind of washed out. But the inverse head and shoulders pattern here is looking pretty solid based on the simple fact that we have the tried and true characteristics of that. Granted, this is a smaller time frame head and shoulders inverse, but it's still relevant nonetheless. Taking a look at the Ichimoku cloud, we can also confirm that we have a nice little confirmational sign here that we're breaking into the cloud. Lagging spends now free and clear, and the conversion lanes over the baseline. So we've got 2.5 reasons to consider a long versus taking a short. Okay. Again, you don't just short into a resistance level. Granted, that can be beneficial with double tops. This is not feeling like a double top considering how strong this coin is, contrary to the rest of the market, and just how well Bitcoin has recovered and stabilized above 56K. My anticipation is we're going to see some altcoins do fairly well this weekend, just because it's that knee-jerk reaction to getting hit so hard. But this coin did not retrace half as far as most coins, and it's responded twice as better as most others as well. So those are all things that I like to see as contributing factors that may be worthwhile considering. So I would say that longs is a much safer bet with this coin than it would with others. Most other coins are struggling for the most part, even though we see some green here so far in the last 35 minutes of the market open. We can kind of see here we're looking pretty decent here for this coin specifically. I hope that makes sense and I described that correctly. If you want, and you haven't already, follow us on Twitter, Telegram, Discord, YouTube, TikTok. I provide a lot of playout charts here that are very relevant for you to understand based on depending the situation and obviously some fundamentals. And once more, shorts available on TikTok and YouTube now too. Keep in mind, we saw almost 10,000 views on this most recent short from yesterday, so thank you to those who contributed. Absolutely appreciate that. A like and a thumbs up, whatever the format is, works very well, and it goes far. So thank you for that. Hope you all have a great rest of the day. Deeply appreciate you watching. We will see you in the next one. Have a great rest, everyone. Take care. Good night.